Chismo Eugene, welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Looking back at most of the relationships I've been in with narcissists, I've observed a common thing when I really start thinking of how the relationships moves from one initial meeting to the next, to the next, to the next. And what I've discovered is, and a lot of you already know this, but follow along if you will. The narcissist sees you before you see them. They've noticed you before you noticed them. They've seen you from afar. They may have seen you, say, a week ago at a service station pumping gas. They do what you call take snapshots. They take snapshots. Like, I think all of us retain certain things in our memory, in our mind. I think every human being does that. If you see a handsome person or attractive man or attractive woman, and you see them again, right way, sometimes we can do a total recall and we recall where we saw them at, because most often it is something about them that attracted us to them. They had a unique figure, had a unique physique, had a unique face, voice. It is just the thing about human nature that we do, whether we're looking for someone to date or not. It's just happenstance happens. But with a narcissist, they not only have the total recall of where they saw you at before, they become fixated. Once they see you again, they apply gas on the pedal. They will almost run up to you like a robber. And it will be, looking back, it will be so corny if it's a woman narcissist and you're a man. Most of the time it will be corny, but a lot of times narcissists won't make the first move. They will just appear in your space, in your walking space. That's the corny part. They will give you the illusion that they are looking for something in the same aisle. If you're in Walmart, just to leave that aisle and not get what they pretended they were looking for. And again, this happens with every human if you're interested in someone. What I'm trying to show you, though, the narcissist becomes fixated on you. They've taken this snapshot and they either were in a hurry that day and they had something to go do, which was do another supply, and they retained you to memory, so they knew the next time that they ran across you. This is how they live their life. And what happens is, when you get engaged with them in a relationship wise or friendship, they already have their Rolodex full of supplies, random supplies, chance meetings, one-offs. And what that female narcissist is betting on when she just got in your space is that you were going to initiate the communication. And 99%, 99.9, if not 100% of the time, they are right. They're exactly right. Because what they do, they study people's, I don't want to say insecurities, they study people's thirst, their interest. They can sense a strong interest from you, the chosen one or the empath. Like I say, they know when they can look at you and read you and know if you're distraught. So can empaths. That's why they call us empath. We can read emotions and feelings for the good. They can read them for the bad. And so them knowing these things, they doing a barometer test. And based on that barometer, they know that you're ripe for the picking. And so when you get involved with them, you think this is just a chance meeting, but it's not. They've seen you multiple times. They have stalked you indirectly or directly without you knowing it. They have gathered different types of intel about you even. A lot of times they will already have did a background check on you. And the thing about it is, say empaths, we've gone through what we've gone through with the narcissist. We don't want no part of that again. We are within our right to do what we call a little bit of research on the person. Background check to some degree for the good. They want to see how frail. They want to see what your track record is. They want to see that you didn't have relationships that ended with one person leaving you high and dry. They want to know, pretty much get an indicator on how that relationship went. That gives them an indication on whether they can abuse you and destroy you if that other person did. This is something that is going to be continually elusive, covert, very nonchalant. That's why we must elevate, educate, and vibrate. We must continually keep our foot on the gas pedal of educating and elevating. So therefore, when your vibration is as high as it was when they met you the last time, it will be so high to the point when they get next to you, they don't want no part of it. I've had a lot of potential interest in me since I've been away. They don't have a good conversation for me. Not to say my conversation is better. My conversation is real and it's genuine. They can detect whether I know or whether you, they can detect whether you or I smell their BS. They don't like to have to work for you. That's why they give up. You're taking them through so many hoops. And you're not really doing anything. You're just looking them in the eye as they talk. You're stoic. You're giving them your undivided attention. You're paying attention. They fidgety. They can't be still. They looking around while they're talking, while they're trying to gas you up. They can't look you in the eye. Just as fake as a, I don't know if they say $2 bill, just as fake as anything you can imagine. You know this because you know how to identify it now. Before you were just so caught up and hoodwinked in the glim and the glam, or the shine and the curves and the muscles and the eyes and the hair, the car, the jewelry, sneakers, the hat, form-fitting dress with no underwear on purposely. Nothing against women who don't wear underwear. That's totally your private matter to do whatever you will. But I'm talking the provocative, enticing, just really, really down and out raunchy, because this is how they lead with their body. And they're gambling on it's going to work, and it does. Empaths and chosen ones, you guys specifically, I'm talking to you and myself as I say this. We must strengthen ourselves when it comes to this stuff, man. Think about the relationship you had before you got to this point of awareness. Think back on how specific narcissists got you. Do critical thinking and ask yourself, have a conversation with yourself and say, how did she get me? Was she well endowed, everything oozing out? Or was she just modestly well endowed? And I became fixated on that, and that was what drew me to her. Women, look at yourself and say, what was it that drew me to him? What physicality drew me to him? And not only did it just draw me to him, how strong of an influence was that in me deciding to be with him or her? We must look for substance, sustainability, balance, a person who's able to have a conversation with you, a person that doesn't need you but appreciates your company, and vice versa. Someone who you don't need. You really might not have an overwhelming desire for her or him, but you happen to meet, you start talking based on a few cues that you're giving off and she's giving off, he's giving off and she's giving off. You may determine, hey, okay, I heard about that place. I'll probably check it out. Then they say, oh, I'm going over there next week. Maybe I'll see you over there. Let that be that and say, okay, that sounds good. You may be interested in her. She may be interested in you. But don't allow the physicals to be the defining factor as to how hungry and eager you are to want to be around that person. Relish the conversation. Go off on your merry way and do the math and say, man, replay that conversation. Then after you replay that conversation in your head, be critical of yourself and say, man, you know what? She's hot. Got to give her that. But the conversation was very nice. What cues did I get that were red flags? And that's what you go on to do. And if you don't determine there were any red flags to be concerned about, if you should see them again, chance meeting, see if that conversation continues to be fluid. This is how we must determine whether I believe we're going to connect with that person out there who God is determined to be that one that is our soulmate. That is what I'm looking for. That is what my eyes are open for. And until then, everything else is just a conversation. I've had opportunities to have relationships of different sort, but there are certain things about me that won't be compromised. And I've made that decision I made that decision within myself. I didn't have to get any approval from anyone else. I've determined that for myself. But I must maintain and I must stay true to myself. If that's going to be something that I'm actually continually in search for or wanting from the other person, I must continue to be consistent about wanting it for myself. But the narcissists, they know you. They've seen you. They've heard about you. They inquire about you. They investigate you. They do everything that we should be doing now. Only difference is we should do it more so for the good, and we should do it more so for the good and the well-being of ourselves first and foremost. Because we know what we bring to the table, but we don't know what that other person brings to the table if we're not aware and we're not paying attention and in tune. That being said, bless.